What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, former unified lightweight world champion, superstar boxer, TEOFIMO LOPEZ, 17 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 13 wins by way of knockout, 25 years of age, 5'8" with a 68-inch arm reach. He's just coming off of making his ring return against Pedro Campa after suffering a shocking loss November 27th of 2021 at Madison Square Garden against former unified lightweight world champion Australian star boxer George Kambosos Jr., who is 20 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 10 wins by way of knockout. He is 29 years of age, 5'9" with a 68-inch arm reach. George Kambosos, he dropped TEOFIMO LOPEZ. He was dropped in the 10th round, faced adversity, got up, and won a split decision against TEOFIMO LOPEZ. With that said, prior to that, TEOFIMO LOPEZ, he had shocked the world in many people's eyes back in October of 2020 when he defeated Olympic 2-time gold medalist, 3-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko, who is now 16 wins. Lomachenko is 16 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 11 wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 5'6" with a 66-inch arm reach. TEOFIMO LOPEZ, he shocked the world, beating Vasil Lomachenko, right? And then immediately in the rematch, in his title defense, he lost to George Kambosos Jr., okay? That was in 2021, November of 2021, a year later, a year and a month later. But here what's interesting is TEOFIMO LOPEZ has finally admitted that he was never undisputed. They were considering TEOFIMO LOPEZ undisputed. Why? Because Vasil Lomachenko had fought for the vacant WBC title, World Boxing Council title, President Mauricio Suleiman and board of 32 members, when back in August of 2019 against Luke Campbell, okay? He won a unanimous decision against Luke Campbell. It was Luke Campbell's Olympic gold medalist, lightweight British star title contender. He won a unanimous decision. That title was vacated by 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia. And immediately he decided that he wanted to vacate the title and become franchise champion. Keep in mind, the WBC had just recently introduced July of that year, June or July of the year of 2019, when they introduced 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer, who is currently the undisputed super middleweight world champion, widely considered by many to be the face of the sport of boxing, in pound for pound top 5 fighter in Saul Canelo Alvarez, as the franchise champion, which essentially means he vacated the WBC title. He didn't have to honor his mandatory, who was at the time undefeated 2-division world champion superstar boxer Jamal Lions Only Charlo. So Canelo Alvarez never used it and activated it because he immediately moved up in weight, so it didn't matter, okay? But Jamal Charlo is still a WBC champion. He was elevated to the WBC champion, okay? Hence the same thing that happened with Lomachenko. Lomachenko vacated the WBC title after he beat Luke Campbell. He was awarded the franchise title. He was kinged, right? Awarded the franchise title that saw Lomachenko be able to move around the chessboard without any restrictions, right? And Devin Haney became the WBC official champion, undefeated, undisputed lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney, who was 28 wins, no losses, no draw, 15 wins by way of knockout. He's 23 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. So Devin Haney, he became the official WBC champion as Lomachenko vacated the title, okay? Once Lomachenko vacated the title, Devin Haney, who was the mandatory in position, he was elevated to the WBC official champion. Same way Jamal Charlo was elevated into the WBC champion position, okay? So now he had beat Zaire Abdulaev, okay, for the WBC mandatory position in September of 2019. Then he faced off against Alfredo Santiago in November of that year, in which he got unanimous decision in both those. He got the Abdullah fight. He got a brutal knockout victory. So with that said, Devin Haney was elevated to the official WBC champion at that point in time. Lomachenko vacated. So when Lomachenko fought, according to the WBC, you cannot win or lose the franchise title. It was an acknowledgement of an accomplishment and award, essentially, for that fighter. It's not a major belt. It's not a real belt, okay? It's a trophy that allows you to move around the chessboard as you so please. Now, if you don't lose, right, you'll be considered the undisputed champion, right? But if you lose, right, you lose your position, okay? And so with that said, your opponent cannot win or lose the franchise title. So when TEOFIMO LOPEZ faced off against Lomachenko, he beat Lomachenko, surprised the world, October 29, 2020, right? Surprised the world, beat Lomachenko. He wasn't the official undisputed champion. There's only 5 undisputed champions at the time when he fought and beat Lomachenko, and that was Bernard Hopkins at number 1. That was Jermaine Taylor, who beat Bernard Hopkins at number 2. That was Terrence Crawford at number 3 at junior welterweight. At number 4, that was Oleksandr Usyk at cruiserweight, and at number 5, Josh Taylor had beat Jose Ramirez to become the 5th undisputed 4 major sanctioned belt holder in the history of sport of boxing. 5. He's not considered the undisputed champion TEOFIMO LOPEZ was, okay? And neither was George Kambosos, who beat TEOFIMO LOPEZ, viewed as the undisputed champion. But for a very long time, TEOFIMO LOPEZ, he went on a campaign that he was undisputed. And ESPN, worldwide leader in sports, they continued to push like he was undisputed. So finally, TEOFIMO LOPEZ expresses that he knows he was never undisputed. And now he holds a grudge and a chip on his shoulder because he should have been considered undisputed, okay? And now he wants all the fighters that stand in the way, such as Devin Haney, to pay because he should have been considered undisputed, okay? Then he goes on to say how in his loss to George Kambosos Jr., he had a asthma attack, bronchitis, and a tear in his esophagus and his lungs that saw him not be able to continue with the fight. I mean, that saw him not being able to be successful. But yet and still, he says he still thought he won the fight 10 rounds to 2. Nobody saw 10 rounds to 2, okay? You was down 2 rounds the moment you got dropped in the first round. You was already down. That's 2 points, okay? So you was already down 2 rounds. So that means he already had 2 points on you at that point in time. So you telling me that the rest of those rounds, you just dominated the rest of the fight. It's delusion. Then he says that he's gonna move up to junior welterweight and dominate there. But listen to what he said about knowing he's not undisputed. Finally admits it. Although even in his last fight against Pedro Campa, the ESPN continued to try to push him as he was undisputed.
A second man to be undisputed in the world, but Fox reckon nobody else will record it that way.
Yeah, it was Jermaine Taylor, I know Crawford's in it, Usyk is in it, and it was somebody else I'm missing.
But Fox reckon nobody else will record it that way.
Yeah, it was Jermaine Taylor, I know Crawford's in it, Usyk is in it, then it was somebody else I'm missing out. I think maybe Bernard Hopkins.
Do you feel like you've made peace with that or not? Will you never make
It's Bernard Hopkins and Josh Taylor.
peace with that?
Fuck no, that's why I don't. That's sorry for my language, but that's the only reason why I'm sorry, but I'm gonna act everybody out in my sport.
Mm-hmm. That's the only response that just.
That's the only way I'm gonna have everyone sit down, because we as fighters are the reason why those guys that sit down and set the.
So now he's going to talk about the politics within the sport of boxing and how, these sanctioned bodies make all this money off of the fighters and they don't get enough credit.
Business negotiations, we're the reason why they're getting paid. Now, them getting paid more than us is ridiculous, it's ridiculous, but that's between sides, and that's between who you're with.
So you hear him, so he admits that he knows he wasn't undisputed, okay? Then he goes on, like I said, to say that, he had a tear in his esophagus and asthma attack and so on and so forth.
When my father was asking me numerous times, I'm going to throw in the towel because nobody knew what I was going through.
He says his father was going to throw in the towel because he was saying that you don't have it no more. Okay. Well, his father in the corner, when you can hear the microphone in the corner, was saying, why are you still allowing this guy to be in the fight? You should be knocking him out. But now he's saying that his father was saying he's going to throw in the towel.
What it did. I can't even get mad at it at this point. It's more so like all about what I do now, because nobody knew what I was going through in that fight. No one knows how I was feeling in the middle of those rounds, where my father was asking me numerous times, I'm going to throw in the towel because you're looking like you're dying on me. Because he knew I had my asthma and I had bronchitis and early stages of pneumonia. Fighting Kambosos for 12 rounds with a tear in my esophagus, a tear in my chest. I had airflow running through my heart, my neck, and my head. For 12 rounds fighting like that.
I think the medical.
So he said that he had bronchitis, pneumonia, asthma, a tear in his lung. He had all these issues, and he fought 12 rounds, right? I'm privy to one of my sons has asthma very, very bad and plays football. My mother has asthma very, very bad, and one of my uncles have asthma very, very bad. My brother's brother. And yeah, when you have asthma, I know I had a friend that was a football player who we played football together, had asthma. He had an asthma attack on the field, right? So I know people are going to say, well, you couldn't play if you had an asthma attack. Well, you know, you could get it under control. But an asthma pump, I believe, in the sport of boxing is illegal because it's seen as a performance enhancer. So he couldn't even use a pump, okay, to get himself, you know, back on track. But you had asthma, pneumonia, a tear in your esophagus, bronchitis, air in your lungs and your heart, right? He wouldn't have been able to talk after the fight was over. He just simply would not have been able to talk. He would have immediately been rushed to the hospital. I mean, he was later on hospitalized, but he would have immediately been rushed to the hospital. With all of these things, air in your heart, your lungs, your throat, he said in his brain, bronchitis, asthma, and pneumonia. No, I had pneumonia twice, and I had walking pneumonia twice. And you can't even lay down, right? You know, it's just to try to lean over or lay down. The fluid on your lungs is just absolutely too much. So to have fluid and a tear and airway going through your lungs, no, absolutely not. But now he's saying that he's gonna try his hand at a couple of fights at 140. He wants to fight with Josh Taylor, and then he wants to face off against. Eventually, he wants to move up to 147 and become undisputed there. At least now he's admitting that he knew he was never undisputed, period. So let's see how everything unfolds. I didn't like how he looked against Pedro Campa in his last fight. You know, he got the stoppage victory, the 7th round knockout victory over Pedro Campa. I expected that. Top Rank has the best matchmaking in the sport of boxing, so he was matched perfectly. And I expected that outcome. I actually predicted it would be the 6th, 7th round. He would knock out Pedro Campa, and I was correct, okay? And so with that said, let's see what happens next. You know, Regis Prograis said that he would knock him out. Regis Prograis is fighting for the vacant WBC title. Teofimo Lopez wants that position. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.